Hi, hello, welcome back to Tao of Mary. I have been feeling called to talk about this subject and my journey with it. These videos are meant for you to take what resonates and you can leave behind what doesn't resonate. So it's totally up to you to decide if what I say resonates with you. But know that I am coming from a place of sharing my truth. And I hope that through me sharing my truth that you can uncover some truth in your own life. I want to talk about how I've managed to transform my mind from a very hostile environment to a place that is supportive of me and my dreams, to a place that is totally safe for me to exist in, for a place that lifts me up, and my mind is a safe space for me to go to when the world feels heavy or when I'm experiencing something difficult. No longer do I have to live in fear that I am rejected in my own mind, in my own internal space. My inner being is the safest place for me. The only way for you to move into deeper union with yourself is to soften your inner critic and be committed to the process of creating an inner space that is supportive of you. And this is particularly important when you want to achieve goals and dreams in life, because not only will it be harder to achieve your goals and dreams from a place where your mind is destructive and hostile, but when you do achieve your goals and dreams from this hostile space, it will never be enough, because your inner critic will always have something to say about you not doing enough, you not being enough. But when you achieve your goals and dreams and live your life from a supportive mind and through an inner narrative that is safe and compassionate and supportive of you and unconditionally loving, this is how everything becomes enough. The present moment is enough. It's like you don't even need anything at all because you have everything within you. And you achieve your goals and dreams and you set out on this journey to try to do things in life, not because you feel like you need to prove yourself or prove your worth or make something of yourself so that you can be more valuable, but because you genuinely just want to see what could happen, and you genuinely want to express your light in this world. You genuinely just want to expand. You genuinely want to give to others and give back to this world. Because when you feel full of your own inner light, you're naturally going to want to share it with others and give back to others, because you have so much to give inside of you. So let's go over how I managed to transform my mind from a hostile to a supportive place. I grew up with a very hostile mind. I had a lot of internalized self-hatred and self-loathing. And so growing up as a child and as a teenager, I really felt like I hated myself. And I hated all aspects of myself. I hated the way I looked. I hated the way I felt. I hated who I was. And I just felt like I was living in a constant state of anxiety, depression, guilt, and shame. And those are like the lowest realms of emotion that you can experience. Especially shame. When you feel shame for existing, this realm of emotion, it brings you down so much. It's such a weight on your shoulders. And I felt so much shame for just the fact of me existing. I really didn't want to be seen by anyone because I felt so ashamed. And the last thing I wanted to do was share myself with the world or share my inner light and have people look at me and have people perceive me. Now, as an adult, I see that vulnerability is what helps remove shame, and vulnerability and the willingness to stand strong in your vulnerability is something that increases your power and makes you magnetic. These lower realms of feelings that existed within me my whole life manifested in some really detrimental ways in my life. I constantly felt anxious. Whenever I would feel better and experience like a higher feeling, I would come crashing down so hard into like the deepest pits of depression where I just did not want to exist. I was never able to feel balanced in my life, and I also relied on a lot of things to numb me, as a lot of people do when they're depressed. I was addicted to weed for a long time. I was addicted to external validation from men and from dating people. I was just constantly trying to numb myself. As a little kid and as a teenager, I was addicted to binge eating and experienced eating disorders. So yeah, I had a lot of vices that I was relying on to numb the fact that my mind was such a hostile environment. And I think this is something that a lot of people do when they numb themselves. It's like you think that you're numbing from the world around you. You think that you're numbing from all your problems. But what you're really trying to numb and distract from is your own self. Because at the end of the day, you still have to be alone with yourself when you go to sleep at night. And being alone with yourself and facing the reality that you do not love yourself, that your mind, that your inner being is not a safe space for you, that's a really tough thing to face. At a certain point, I just got tired of it all, and I got tired of feeling like I was constantly running away from my life and trying to avoid my life. That's something that followed me throughout my life, is the pattern of avoidancy. I would go to great lengths to avoid my emotions. I would go to great lengths to avoid confrontation, communication, vulnerability. And I was really just trying to avoid living my life and dealing with life and asserting myself in this life. I just really, at my core, did not feel capable of doing anything in life because I felt like I didn't deserve to be here. And I genuinely felt like something was wrong with me and I was just unworthy of living life and having anything good in this life. So, how did I manage to turn all of this around? How did I turn my mind and my inner narrative from a destructive inner narrative to a supportive and unconditionally loving inner narrative? If you're struggling with this, this is the most important recognition for you to have, is that you deserve to live in a mind that is supportive of you. That is your right as a human being. Just for being here and existing and having been born into this world, your mind should be a supportive place for you. You need to be your number one biggest fan, and you need to be your greatest ally in this world. And that is the work that we're doing here. And what I'm explaining in this video is how to turn the narrative in your mind, the story that you tell yourself about yourself, from one that is based on fear and self-loathing and victimhood into a story that is based on power and empowerment and love and compassion and openness. You will not be fulfilled in life if you do not do this work, because no matter what you achieve, no matter what material possessions you have, or how great your body is, or how great your partner is, you will always feel like it is not enough if you do not feel like you're enough inside of you. And that's, I think, the secret to living life, is knowing that you are enough, that you have enough, that you have everything you need inside of you to navigate this life. So no matter what life gives to you, you feel 100% equipped to go through it, because you know that you will be there standing by yourself, getting through everything. I'm going to share with you the most transformative concept that has helped me on this journey. And a huge part of my journey has been about cultivating the inner mother. And once you cultivate your inner mother, you will feel such a burden lifted off of you, because you will not have to deal with the harshness of your mind alone anymore. The inner mother is a space within you that is totally within your power to cultivate. And this is the space of unconditional self-love, unconditional self-compassion. She is the space where you can go to break down and feel any emotion. You can come as you are, no matter what you are feeling, no matter what you are going through. You are always accepted in this space. You are always loved entirely in this space. You are always whole in this space in her eyes. And knowing that you have this space within you is so powerful, because you no longer have to walk alone in this life in a way, because you know that there is a space within you where everything is allowed. No matter how hard it gets, you can go there and you can present these parts of yourself that you previously hid or felt so ashamed of. The inner mother is capable of holding space, not just for the parts of you that are acceptable. She's capable of holding space for all of you. And the recognition that you have the inner mother inside of you already is such a game changer. And the more you can cultivate your awareness of your inner mother, the more you will process your feelings, and the more your feelings will move through you, and you will experience an incredible, deep transformation. And as a result, you will move into deeper union with yourself. You will become wiser. You will become more resilient. You will develop so much more self-trust, self-love, and self-compassion. The inner mother is especially helpful when we are experiencing strong, difficult emotions. And what I do when I am experiencing emotional turmoil and emotional disturbance is I practice holding space for these emotions without trying to change or judge them. So let's say I'm feeling emotionally overwhelmed and I'm crying. I'm aware of my inner narrative, and I'm aware when I notice myself saying, "What's wrong with you?" And in that moment that I catch myself judging my experience and judging myself, I say, "I love you. I'm here for you. I'm not going anywhere. We're in this together. This is allowed. You are allowed to feel this way. I accept you. I accept this." Practice saying these things to yourself when you are going through emotional disturbance. Practice holding yourself. Practice holding space for your difficult emotions. And this can be quite uncomfortable at first if you're not used to it. Know that guilt and shame do not exist within the realm of the inner mother. She is never guilting you for your actions or your experiences or your emotions. She is never shaming you for anything that you've done or anything that you've felt. She is never placing conditions on you for who you need to be in order to earn her love, because you do not need to earn her love. You are already loved at maximum capacity from her. Her love is infinite for you, and she loves you so, so much. And cultivating the inner mother is especially helpful when we feel like we can't reach that place of self-love for ourselves. But just knowing that there is a space within us where that love does exist, that is so just, it makes you feel so much safer, because you know that even if you can't give yourself that love, there's a space within you that love, where that love does exist. And she, the inner mother, she's going to be your greatest ally on this journey. And know that she operates out of divine feminine wisdom, and she will soften all areas of your life. Any area of your life you feel like you're operating out of harshness or self-loathing and self-criticism, she can swoop in and she can soften all your criticism and harshness and transform it into self-compassion. Having a space within us to break down is so important. Having a space within us where we can be completely vulnerable with ourselves is the root of where transformation happens. Because what happens when we're able to break down completely, where we let go of the control, we let go of our facades, we let go of all this rigidity, and we accept, divine feminine flow and her power, we are able to transform rigidity into fluidity. So when you're feeling really difficult emotions and you embody a container to hold space for these emotions and to break down completely, that is how you will transform. That is how you will rebuild. And you will rebuild with greater awareness. And the way to transform your difficult emotions is through compassion. Your pain and your suffering always deserves compassion. And if you feel like you don't have the capacity to give that compassion to yourself, allow your inner mother to give that compassion to you, and allow her to hold you, allow her to be the container for you, because that is really what the divine feminine is. She is a container that is capable of holding space for everything, for every sorrow, for every grievance, for every pain. She's capable of holding space for all of you. You are always enough for her. You are always accepted with her. The more I've gotten to know my inner mother, the more I've realized that I am the inner mother, and I have the capacity to be that inner mother. Because really, what exists within us, what exists within our minds, is just multiple narratives, and we have to identify the dominant narrative in our mind. And when we've realized that our inner narrative is harsh and is based on self-criticism and self-judgment, we have to ask ourselves where we picked up this narrative from, because no one is born with a harsh inner narrative. More often than not, you'll look back on this narrative and realize that it's not actually your voice. It's a voice you've picked up from somewhere. It's the voice of society. It's the voice of your own mother in real life. It's the voice of your father. It's the voice of a bully who picked on you. It's the voice of a magazine that you read telling you that your body's not good enough. We have been indoctrinated into adopting these stories about ourselves. And that is what your inner narrative is. It is just a story that you tell yourself about yourself. It is not truth. It is not reality. The more we can cultivate awareness about our inner narrative, the more we will have the power to change our narrative. I have been able to transform my inner narrative from a place that puts me down all the time to a place that lifts me up. And it takes a lot of practice and it takes a lot of awareness. A recent example is that I've struggled my whole life with self-critical thoughts about my appearance. I've always felt like I'm the ugly girl, I'm the fat girl, I'm not sexy, on and on and on. Like, I could list you things that I've struggled with in regards to my appearance. And I just got so freaking tired of living in a mind that was so hyper fixated on how I looked that I couldn't enjoy anything else in life because my mind was always focused on my flaws and focused on how bad or good I looked and just hyper fixated on this thing that was consuming so much of my energy. And it got tiring. I got fed up with it. And so I started developing awareness for this story I was telling myself. And I noticed all the times throughout my day when that voice would pop into my head and be like, oh, you don't look good right now. Oh, you should look in the mirror and check how you look. I used to struggle so much with this. Like, this voice used to be the dominant thought in my mind. And I made the decision that I don't want to listen to that voice anymore. And you don't have to listen to that voice anymore. That's the beautiful thing about cultivating awareness, is that once you become aware of what's actually happening in your mind, of the voices that are in your head, you can choose the narrative. You can change the narrative. And so that's what I started doing. Every time I heard the self-critical voice in my head that put my appearance down, I wouldn't validate it. I wouldn't listen to it. I wouldn't argue with it. I would just be like, oh, there's that voice again. And over time, my emotional reaction to that voice decreased. And the less emotionally reactive I was, the less I was fazed by this voice, the less power it had over me. And what happened is that it just started to decrease until it just went away completely. Alongside of this work of awareness and reducing my emotional reactivity to the voice, I was constantly, and I am still constantly, affirming myself, telling myself, genuinely feeling this, telling myself, I am beautiful, I am capable, I am unstoppable, I have everything I need within me. At first, this might feel very foreign to you and very difficult to do, to, say these affirmations. But if you can make a deal with yourself that every time you hear the voice of the inner critic, replace it with an affirming statement. Every time you hear the voice in your head that says, I'm ugly, or I can't do that, just say, I'm beautiful, I'm unstoppable. That is what I basically do every single day. I tell myself, I am unstoppable, I am beautiful, I have everything I need inside of me to navigate this life. And this is how we transform our inner narrative. Our inner narrative is essentially a program. The more dominant that our inner narrative is, the more it is seeping into our subconscious mind, and the more that this narrative controls us on an unconscious level. So, for example, I grew up believing that I was ugly, and because I grew up believing that I was ugly, not only consciously, but also unconsciously, this dominant belief held me back in life. It made me go for men who didn't value me. It made me hold back going after opportunities that I wanted because I felt like I didn't deserve them because I wasn't beautiful enough. It made me hold back from sharing myself and being vulnerable with people because I was afraid of being seen and heard and perceived. If you can change that inner narrative into one that is supportive of you and an inner narrative that lifts you up, that is going to seep into your unconscious mind, and your actions as a result, your autopilot actions, are going to transform into actions that actually support you. You're going to notice that you start going for the things that you want, that you're less afraid of sharing yourself and being vulnerable. And that is the root of how your life can transform. What we are really doing with this work is rewriting our outdated programming into a program that is supportive of us. And that is really exciting, that as adults, as conscious adults, we have the power to change our inner narratives and create a life that we love. It is totally in your power to do this. It is within your power to change how you look at yourself, and it's within your power to change how you perceive life. It's in your power to change how you perceive your story, the story you've always told yourself about who you are and how you perceive your experiences. You can change that narrative from one of fear and victimhood into a narrative that is empowering. I also want to touch on conditional love versus unconditional love. And the inner mother is that space of unconditional love. And with unconditional love, there are no conditions on who we have to be, what we have to do to earn love. There is no earning love. We just know it is truth that we deserve love, that we are lovable just because we exist. And there's nothing we have to do to prove that. We just are. And what happens when you are rooted in this knowing that you are whole and complete and deserve all the love in the world is that you stop having to prove your worth, and you just become rooted in your power, and you become rooted in your essence, and your essence just blossoms because you stop trying to prove yourself. When we are rooted in conditional love, we believe that we have to prove ourselves in order to be loved, and we may tie our actions to love. We may think that we need to be making a certain amount of money to be loved. We may think that we need to earn the respect of society or our parents to be loved. We may think that we need to look a certain way to be loved. We may think that we need to be disciplined in order to be loved. Operating out of the realm of unconditional love is so essential, because there will be times on your journey where you fail, where you don't meet your expectations. There will be times where you do things that are out of alignment, and where you feel out of alignment and say, like, damn, I wish I didn't do that. I wish I had tried harder. I wish I had been better in this moment. And when we are coming from the place of conditional love, we will revert to shame and guilt in those moments when we fail. And we will put ourselves down and say, see, I told you so. And the narrative of conditional love is always waiting for those moments where we fail and we prove the narrative that we're not enough, so that the voice can say, like, I told you so, you're not enough. That voice is always trying to validate the narrative that you are not enough and that you don't deserve good things in this world. But when we live through a voice that is unconditionally loving, when we fail, when we don't meet our expectations, we're able to look at ourselves and say, I still love you. Just try again. You can keep going. You can use this as a learning opportunity. It's not this, see, I told you so. I told you you're not good enough. It's, that's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. Let's try again. And that is how you will achieve your dreams, by picking yourself up again with love, regarding yourself like a mother would her child. Be your biggest fan. Motivate yourself. I actually recommend talking to your inner critic and your inner judge and getting to know them, and learning, like, why are you so harsh? And like, who are you? Who is this voice that I'm hearing right now? And underneath the inner critic, underneath the inner judge, you will find someone who is very afraid and who is desperate to be loved. All fear, all shame, all guilt, all jealousy, all negative emotions are a plea for love. We transform and soften our inner critic not through more harshness, but by giving our inner critic compassion. Because as we embody our inner mother, we uncover the fact that there is a very scared little child within all of us. And that little child has been using the protective mechanism of judgment and criticism and harshness. And what that little child needs more than anything is to feel safe, is to feel held, is to feel loved, is to feel warmth. I realized that I was being so mean to my inner child. I was telling her that she's not enough all the time. I was affirming this narrative that she's not enough, that she's no good, that she's useless, that she's fundamentally flawed, that she's ugly. That is why she was always depressed. That is why she felt like she couldn't achieve anything in this life. That's why she never tried. Because she was afraid of this inner critic voice within me who was always turning on her. When I shifted to the narrative of the inner mother, it's taken time to earn the trust of my inner child. But the more that I've proven to her that it's safe now, I'm the inner mother. You don't have to be afraid anymore because I love you. I'm sorry for how mean I was to you. This is the process of seeing yourself blossom, and this is how you will begin to bloom. I also want to mention that it's very easy on this journey to get caught up in specific emotions and specific scenarios and situations. And sometimes we need to just like zoom out of these specific situations and realize that it's not really about, the little things. Like, yes, it is, but like looking at your life through the larger lens of your journey and your expansion is so important. Because think of a plant or think of a flower. You cannot force a flower to bloom. You have to water it and love it and take care of it and nourish it. And that is what you are doing right now with this work in your mind and in your inner world. Your mind is like a garden. And right now, there may be a lot of weeds in the garden, and it may feel like a lot of work and scary and untamed. But over time, you can create a garden that is lush and that is blooming with all of these beautiful flowers of love and compassion and strength. And it may seem very daunting to do right now, but know that it's possible because I was there and I know how hard it is, and I managed to do it. And I am certain that you can do it also. give yourself grace on this journey. You know, if an understanding is not coming to you, if you keep failing, if you keep coming back to the inner critic, like, just keep going. Give yourself grace. You don't need to force anything. This journey is more about relinquishing force and relinquishing control and learning how to just trust, allow. You are exactly where you need to be to evolve fully. You are exactly where you need to be to expand and evolve, and you have everything inside of you already. Like, everything you need to expand in this life is already inside of you, and it's just waiting to be uncovered. And you can't force that out of you. It kind of just has to come out on its own. And you can speed up the process by focusing on allowing whatever comes up, whatever wants to come out of you, allow it to be there. Give it love, give it your blessing, and let it move through you so something new can come up. There's no need for force on this journey, forcing your understanding or, trying to force yourself into a place of self-love if you just can't get there yet. Trust that you will get there. Trust that the emotion and that the experience you're having right now is here for a reason. You are meant to face it right now, and this is the next step for getting to where you need to be. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you watched this far, leave me a comment and let me know about what topic you want to hear me talk about next, because I love talking about healing and I have so much to say on these topics. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video.